For Aries, the turning point can be a short sentence said at exactly the right moment. The useful boundary does not punish anyone. It keeps a door that will not open by itself from becoming a habit. Saturn is measuring the identity-body presence axis without decorative softness. Anything that costs too much is asking for a decision. This is the blank page, the delayed answer, the point that is waiting only for an act. As long as you stand and watch, a door that will not open by itself looks bigger. The moment you choose the first step, it loses power. The stake is getting out of the mental loop. If you do not move anything, the blockage remains respectable. For Aries, winning does not mean moving first. It means not letting yourself be bought by impulse. If you do not touch the necessary move, the day passes and the problem keeps its throne. Move, send the reply, close the loop, or change the operational pace. One action, but irreversible. Listen again when your mind offers one more explanation in exchange for the gesture that is still missing. Taurus. Do not accept a price just because the conversation is uncomfortable. Here you see what really matters. A value left too open to interpretation tests the version of yourself you want to keep standing. With Venus active, the work method health field asks for a choice that is beautiful but not blind. Intensity and dignity have to stay together. This is a value that wants form before it becomes an automatic concession. For Taurus, useful stability today is not immobility. It is shaping the point that truly weighs. This is not greed. It is stopping the discomfort from doing the estimate for you. The stake is not letting social or emotional unease set the price in place of your judgment. If a value left too open to interpretation stays vague in a polite tone, the price will be set by whoever pushes hardest. Move. Turn the favor into clear conditions now, so you can see whether it is still healthy or not. Tomorrow it will matter that you saw cost, promise, and value in the same place. Gemini. If desire asks for confirmation, slow down. Maybe it is asking for a choice. This is the point where someone lights you up, but the sky asks you not to hand them the steering wheel. Tighten the frame. One real detail is enough for an attraction that asks for a choice to stop sounding like theory. With Venus in the foreground, the desire, creativity, pleasure field is not neutral. What pleases you has to respect you too. The emotional side becomes grown up today only if an attraction that asks for a choice does not steal your center while it lights you up. For Gemini, understanding everything is not enough if the contact still ends with no choice. The risk is letting the thrill drive and discovering later that your dignity paid the real price. The risk is confusing intensity with direction. One thing excites you, the other keeps you whole. Move, remove the seductive line, and leave the true one, even if it is shorter. Save it for when you need to remember that being chosen is not worth more than staying whole. Cancer. It is not enough to be right. You have to avoid turning being right into a blow. Venus brings fire to the foundation. What stays implied is asking for precise words. Keep the scene tight. One room, one request, one yes that must not erase you. It is home. A simple request, a yes given to keep the peace. A threshold no one names. Giving in by a centimeter looks loving. Giving in every time becomes an unsigned contract. The problem is not the request. It is the boundary left unspoken. A house is not really calm if the calm is only being paid for by you. For Cancer, protecting everyone looks like love until nobody notices you stayed outside the room. Are you protecting home or buying quiet with a piece of yourself? The strong move is a boundary spoken softly, before the wall. Write who does what. Wait. Confirm only what you can actually carry. Move. Make one concrete choice before you react. Save it for when the scene asks for more than it deserves. Leo. There is a narrow window for Leo. If you wait too long, it turns into noise. You have two exits in front of you. One softens the moment. The other finally gives shape to the knot. The sun lights up the identity-body presence axis. What was on the side now asks for center stage and responsibility. This is a step taken on tiptoe, the kind that rewards those who do not confuse caution with sleep. If you wait for certainty, a useful threshold to cross early becomes noise. If you act with measure, it becomes direction. The stake is knowing whether you truly want the movement you keep talking about, or only the comfort of imagining it. For Leo, today's value lies in not using force to cover discomfort. If you let a useful threshold to cross early evaporate, you do not lose only a chance. You also lose trust in your ability to recognize one. Move. Do not open 3 scenarios. Confirm the small step that keeps the best possibility alive. Listen again before you confuse caution with delay. Virgo. Today, the price is not only financial. It is how much room you leave others to decide. The good ending is not spectacular. It is getting to evening with a margin someone is using, made less ambiguous and more your own. Venus activates the resources money value axis. Desire, value, and boundary need a clearer shape. This is a visible or implied negotiation where time, attention, money, and dignity end up in the same room. If no one names the bill, a margin someone is using can easily become the usual advantage of the person who insists better than you do. For Virgo, the day improves when you stop using clarity as protection from action. Value does not become cold when you name it. It becomes shareable. If that margin stays vague in a polite tone, the price will be decided by whoever pushes hardest. Move. If the boundary is real, write it down or say it now, not after it has already been crossed. Come back to this before you confuse availability with giving in beyond measure. Libra. The breakthrough does not arrive when everything is clear. It arrives when you stop going around it. The practical question is blunt but useful. What does a clarification that wants an action prove when you stop feeding it with words? Saturn is pressing on the field of words, exchanges, and the near environment. The choice asks for structure, not justification. This is the moment when you realize the problem no longer needs better analysis, but a move that reduces it. The useful gesture does not have to be huge. It only has to keep a clarification that wants an action from staying in charge of the scene. For Libra, useful peace does not leave that gesture vague. One imperfect but real step today can be worth more than a calm that preserves the problem. If you do not touch that action today, tomorrow may cost you more energy for the same choice. Move, cut the extra, and protect the first concrete move. Save it for the moment when the blockage tries to disguise itself as prudence. Scorpio. Today, the sky does not reward those who wait for safety. It rewards those who give shape to the first move. The useful gesture cuts little, but cuts cleanly. A practical decision to make should no longer occupy the whole stage. Venus brings magnetism into the work method health area, but the sky asks you to distinguish true desire from the need for confirmation. This is the point where the day puts in front of you not the whole problem, but the first piece you can actually shift. As long as you keep watching, a practical decision to make looks bigger. The second you choose the first step, it loses power. The stake is stopping the system from making a blockage respectable just because you have been polite to it. For Scorpio, the risk is controlling the scene perfectly and leaving the center unresolved. If you do not touch that block today, tomorrow may cost you more energy for the same choice. Move, send the reply, close the loop, or change the operational pace. One action, but irreversible. Save it before you delay again. The gesture you already know is necessary. Sagittarius. If a fear dressed up as clarity irritates you, it may be showing a convenient lie. This will not be revealed by drama. A fear dressed up as clarity shows itself through a small but precise shift. With Saturn under pressure, the identity-body-presence axis asks for concrete maturity, not a prettier version of delay. It is a small truth, almost annoying, but it makes everything less foggy. What you refuse to name does not disappear. It changes tone, changes mask, but keeps running the room. For Sagittarius, vision only matters today if it accepts the boundary that makes it workable. The stake is not letting an old defense take the place of a present choice. The cost of an alibi is subtle. It protects you from discomfort and pulls you away from the choice. Move. If an excuse comes back elegantly, break it with one simple, verifiable fact. Save it before the more elegant side of you starts protecting the most convenient lie again. Capricorn. Today, care is not generic softness. It is a practical choice. There is only one good enough possibility: using an inner structure to rebuild before it turns into a story about what you could have done. Saturn will not leave the home roots emotional base field vague. It asks for a limit you can see in your actions too. It is a quieter room, a notification left outside, a body that stops bargaining. Protecting energy today is not disappearing. It is keeping an inner structure to rebuild from consuming the right choice. For Capricorn, real holding power today includes saying where your margin ends. The right shelter does not weaken you. It keeps you from wasting strength in the wrong place. If you keep denying space to the tired part of you, the day can work on the outside and drain you on the inside. Move, choose the first useful no, and let it protect the rest of the day. Keep it close. Recovering today may be the most adult choice. Aquarius. Do not confuse attraction with an answer. Today, the heart wants cleaner proof. The day opens with a precise detail. A reaction that reveals the relationship does not want atmosphere, it wants position. Venus makes the vision, travel, study axis more sensitive. The point is not to like more, but to choose better. The heart does not want a scene today. It wants to see whether a reaction that reveals the relationship still leaves room for your dignity. It is a chat, a look, a pause where you realize whether you want contact or just confirmation. For Aquarius, mental distance helps only if it does not become an elegant way of avoiding the scene altogether. If you confuse intensity with truth, you may get closeness quickly, and clarity too late. The cost is giving away presence before you know whether the emotional scene truly deserves space. Move. Before you answer, remove the line that asks for confirmation, and leave the one that can still stand tomorrow. Use it when desire tries to buy itself an answer that is too easy. Pisces. Today, the opening does not arrive shouting. It comes through a move worth formalizing. Tighten the field. A move worth formalizing is the point where the day stops being generic. With Saturn on the resources money value axis, the sky is not asking for hardness. It is asking for form, responsibility, and limit. This is an opportunity that does not sell itself like a miracle. It feels like work, choice, precision. If you keep watching too long, the real possibility can lose weight, not because it was false, but because you did not choose its moment. The risk is not a dramatic failure. It is letting the good margins slip away through too much respectable waiting. For Pisces, sensitivity is useful today only when it stops protecting the undefined. The subtle loss is postponing just well enough not to feel guilty, but long enough to close the opening. Move. Treat the opening like a living thing. Make space for it now, not only theoretical attention. Send it to the part of you that needs to learn the difference between a real opportunity and an elegant wait.